Welcome to the Forward Podcast, everyone. We are diving in this week with an episode titled Grace for That. And I'm going to be talking about some people who really get on our nerves. So we've got a long list here.
A lengthy list, and your name might be on it.
I guarantee you, if you're listening right now and you had your own podcast, you know that you would just love to have a podcast about everyone who gets on your nerves.
Women do have podcasts. We don't publish them, but we just
you text them to each other. I guarantee
our whole talking points.
I bet you anything y'all do. That's great. That's great.
No, there's not enough time.
Well, Karen, definitely, even just kind of talking amongst ourselves, I think this is a very needed conversation just because there are some people, there are situations that really do test your holiness.
Yeah.
They test everything that is in you. And it is not just you and I. Everyone who writes into the podcast, anyone who's in ministry or not in ministry, there is no doubt we deal on a daily basis with people who can rub you the wrong way.
Absolutely.
And there is, Kari and I, was that our fire, being in ministry now for how many years?
18,
19 years, 19 years. We deal with people a lot. I mean, every day, all the time, we're dealing with people. And yet, I think there are some things that we'll kind of talk through here in just a little bit that we have learned in dealing with some difficult people.
Yeah.
Are you tired?
I zoned out.
Kari?
I did. Now I need grace.
You're staring right through me. I'm like, where were you? What are you thinking about? You're tired tonight.
I told you. I said, you've got to start this because I got to have a minute to drink coffee.
Baby girl, I have been talking for a minute and 55 seconds.
That's a long time for you, I know.
I am, for sure.
What was the question? No, I'm good. I am a little tired.
Yeah,
but in my defense, there's no sun outside. It's like rainy and gloomy all day. Gloomy. So I'm trying to hit the coffee.
Well, hey, as we jump into this, let me say this just to start out. Not talking about annoying people, but just talking about people.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Here we go.
Not talking about anything.
Because I should have started this or said this first, and I'm kicking myself because I didn't. And my personality is kicking again. Like, maybe we should start this over, and I should say this first.
Just go.
So,
what? Say what?
Next week we do have a guest speaker on, and it's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. So, make sure that you are sharing these episodes and telling other people about the Forward Podcast. Because next week, it's a longer episode, Kara, for sure. But I really think it's going to be a great blessing to our listeners.
Yeah.
And you'll probably see the title and think, oh, I don't know. Do we want to tune into that?
You do.
Yes, you absolutely do. It's for everyone. And so, that's going to be awesome.
I can't wait for that one to air.
That's really, really good.
That is a good one.
Okay, so Karen, let's talk about what is grace. Let's talk about this just for a moment. What is kind of a brief explanation of grace in your mind? Now, you're a Christian, so obviously the Christ side of us comes out, the discipleship side of us. But if somebody asks you, "Hey, Mom, what is grace?" How do you explain grace to somebody?
I mean, my 7-year-old self is like, God's riches at Christ's expense, because that's what we learned in Sunday school.
Wasn't it? Every little Baptist kid.
Learned it everywhere. Yeah, like Sunday school, main church, college. Like, it was just, even teaching Sunday school, it was like in the curriculum to teach. So like that's kind of how I remember it. But I mean, obviously, we could go on and on about that, about the description. But I just like the thought of, like, I think being a parent really helps to understand grace a little bit more. Yeah. Because there's so many times our kids, just being kids, are undeserving. And we give them good things even when they've been like really cranky. Yeah. Or, when they don't deserve it. Right. But we still do because we love them. We give them another chance and another chance and yet another chance. Right. And I think being a parent has really taught me a lot about grace. It's just seeing that lived out day to day. And even being in ministry too, because it's easy to think, oh, we're in ministry, so we give out a lot of grace. When a lot of times it's the opposite. Like, we're in ministry, so we receive a lot of grace from other people. People have seen us yes, we've seen them at their worst. They've seen us at our worst.
Yes, they have.
They've seen us very tired. They've seen us coming in and working off of high emotion or numbness. They've seen us at our worst too. And I think that's a really cool thing. Like, it's neat to just experience that when your job is working closely with people, really living out that true Christianity of grace. It's just basic, undeserved favor, undeserved kindness. It's not kindness when you're happy or sweet or lovely.
I'm sorry.
It's kindness when your cell phone is too close to the podcast equipment.
I don't think it is.
He just threw his phone on the floor.
I didn't throw it on the chair. It fell off.
The sad thing is
Grace
our
is
phones
being interrupted.
Yes. Our phones are so big now. They make it sounds like somebody broke something.
Good grief. Anyways,
yeah.
Grace definitely is giving someone something that they do not deserve, or don't always deserve. That's for sure. A verse that we always have used, especially with our kids or growing up, was be kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you.
Yeah.
You're forgiving other people. You're extending grace to other people because other people are giving you grace. But more than that, because God's giving us grace.
Yeah,
and it never runs out. Our God's grace is sufficient. Our grace, His grace is, it is never ending. And so what I love about that verse is it brings it in context. Listen, our God gives us grace. Our God gives us forgiveness. And now we are learning to do that to others.
Yeah.
We're learning as disciples. Yeah, He's extended us a lot. We can extend other people a lot. And yet we're thankful for His grace. Yet we don't extend it. We're thankful for His mercy. We don't give it. We're thankful for His forgiveness. And yet we keep a list on others of ways that they've hurt us. But grace isn't just theology. It's emotional. It's practical. And grace sometimes, Kari, is very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It's not... Somebody could say, Thomas, is it always easy to extend grace? Like, wow, you're just... No. There are moments in life, and there are people that we have counseled that we've walked out of that meeting saying, could you ever forgive them? Could you ever extend grace or do something good for her or for him or for that child or that teenager? Like, the hurt that is there, but yet we are commissioned to.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that here in just a moment. But let's look at this. Let's break this down just kind of in some bite-sized, relatable kind of examples of what we're talking about when we're saying grace for this or for that. What are some ways that people in this culture can rub us the wrong way?
I have such a good example of this. And it's about me, so I'm opening up here.
Okay.
So we were at a store over spring break, and we had like 14 kids with us. It was my two sisters, my mom, myself, and all our kids. So, we had 14 kids, I think.
Good
and
night.
So we were in the store, and kids were being kids. We were kind of trying to keep an eye and make them mind or whatever. And we saw that a worker was saying some things to them. And so we were allowing it. They're like, she told us to get off this or whatever. And we're like, okay, well, listen, obey, like, don't stand on that or whatever. Just some basic normal stuff when you're in a store with all those kids. Well, we left and we're getting in the cars, and one of mine came up and told me something that she had said, and on more than one occasion. And I was like, oh, this is not okay. Like, it was inappropriate. It was too far. It was over the line.
The worker had said
to the kids, not around any adult. And it wasn't anything like, bad, but it was just, she had gone too far with her reprimands.
Yeah.
And to the point where she was like following them around the store. And so I went back in, and the kids were, upset. And I said, I'm going to go talk to her. And they're like, what are you going to say? Oh, and, they're all freaking out. And I went in and confronted her. And on the way in, if you know me, walking in, like,
oh, yeah.
I was ready.
Oh, I could see your walk.
I was ready.
Now.
Oh, I was.
I can tell your walk when you are determined.
My walk.
A little upset.
My walk was walking.
Yeah.
And my mouth was ready to get moving.
Your mind was reeling.
I was ready. I was ready because, like,
hold on, I got to make some popcorn. Yeah. Here. Okay, continue.
Like, you come at my kids, like, I don't mind if someone says something to my kids, like, hey, don't touch that or whatever. That's fine.
Sure.
But she had just crossed the line. So as I'm walking into the store, I'm like, oh man, like this is my mom's hometown. People here know her. Also, like I'll probably be back because we come to so all these thoughts are just
It's the
racing
only
through
store
my
in town.
yeah, right. It's a small town. And I thought, I don't want to go in here and represent my parents poorly. I also don't want to represent the Lord poorly, you know? So I'm like, oh man. So I'm calming myself down. I go, I confront her. I'm like, hey, you know, did you have words with some of the kids in here? And she started off pretty hot. But long story short, we had a really good conversation.
Oh, really?
Like I just told her, like, hey, here's what was said. You know, is that true? And she had her opinion. Between all of us, I don't think she had children. She seemed like the type that didn't have kids, because the stuff they were doing, if you have kids, it's like, that's not a big deal. Yeah, they're kids. And she was saying, they destroyed this. And I said, no, I was with them. That was already like that when we got in the store. I remember making a mental note, like my kid, I saw that, you know? And so I was kind of coming back and we were hitting back and forth, but it was done. Like as soon as she saw my response be controlled and kind, she reciprocated. And I could just see her like take a breath and calm down. So we're going back and forth and it ended really well. I said, listen, we just dropped a lot of money in this store. Mm-hmm. I said, we'll be back because there's nothing to do here. And she cracked up, you know, and I said, I just want to make sure like when we come in here that, you know, you guys all understand we'll take care of our kids and they will also respect you if there's something that they need to be doing, but don't feel, you know, come to us. And so anyway, we had a really good conversation, but it was just that conviction of like walking in like, okay, extend this grace even when I'm hot and I'm ready to go and I don't mind confrontation. So I was like, bring it, girl. But the Lord really did give me that conviction in the moment. And at the end of the conversation, we were both smiling. I was saying thank you. She was saying thank you for patronizing our business. And, you know, it was good. It ended well. But it's times like that, it's really hard. Right. It's really hard.
It is.
But as Christians, we have to take that first step. Like that's on us. Yep. That is literally our responsibility. Like if we can't do that as Christians to the lost world, like what is the point of any of this?
Yep.
You know?
That's so good. I'm going to add here, Kari, it's, let me just give a little tip. This is same subject, but I think this will be helpful to everybody. And I need to hear it because one day I'm going to be at this stage.
Yeah.
We are always okay with someone correcting our kids.
Yeah, right.
The kids will say, hey, I was at school, you know, my teacher got on to me, a coach got on to me. I am for that.
Yeah.
My youth pastor, great. You know, we need mentors in our kids' life. This is the tip I want to give everybody. When kids are around the parents, I feel like you should always go to the parents and not get onto the kids in front of the parents.
Right.
It might be a pet peeve. Tell me if I'm wrong, but no. I do not like ever if somebody gets onto my kid and I'm right there. Like I am the parent. Go through me like, hey, your kid's doing this. Oh man, okay, let me correct this. Because I never do.
Yeah.
If a kid's doing something, they're touching something, being something, I will say, hey, make sure, hey, that's hot, or make sure that I just feel like so many times, I'm not picking on anybody, but there is even an older generation that just feels like, hey, it's totally okay to yell at a kid or to get onto a kid and their parents are right there. It's humiliating for the parents.
Yeah.
And it automatically brings out the flesh, where if you go through the parents, the flesh is going to be, okay, I need to get on to my kid. When you go through the kid and the parents right there, now the flesh is turned towards, I'm sorry, that's my child.
Yeah.
Why you don't talk to my kid.
Yeah.
Especially in the day and age we live in, or lawsuits or everything. It's crazy. And everybody, like, maybe there used to be a generation that was okay, but 2025, it's not okay anymore.
Yeah. And that was the crux of the whole discussion, you know, for me personally, was if my kid's doing something wrong and I'm not there, absolutely, as an employee and as an adult, you should be able to say, hey, kid, don't touch that. Right. You know, we're in a store for sure. And I told her that was the first point she made. And I said, you know what? I 100% agree with you. And when I said that, she was like, oh, like relax. And I said, you're right. And I said, I will absolutely be having a discussion with my kids tonight, and they are not going to be happy about it because you're right. They should have quit the first time or whatever. The problem is I literally think this. I think she got on to Nora or Rose and then saw the other one and thought they weren't obeying because it was the other twin. And I didn't even think about that.
Hey, little brat, I just told you not
the store because it was Rose that came up to me and was like, she yelled at me and she was following me and all this. And I was like, oh no, she didn't. But then when I went back and we had this discussion, just the way the conversation went, I left and I was like, I bet you anything she thought she talked to the same kid twice. I
just told that kid not to run in the store.
So I did tell Rose and Nora that. I said, sometimes adults get confused. You are identical. But yeah, that's true. And that was the whole thing I just kept telling her. I said, hey, in this culture, you can't follow kids in a store. No. I don't care if they're trying to light it on fire. Right. You go straight to the parents. And we were the only ones in there. I'm like, you knew who we were. Like, you were avoiding eye contact with us and yet following our kids. And you can't do that. No. And I told her, I said, I will bring every last one of these kids in here and make them clean for an hour if it was that bad. But I told her, I said, the store was a wreck when we got in here.
And we are.
That was the only salty thing I said.
Yeah. The other kids you're with too, there's no brats in that group that's just like, oh, let me go in and tear up a store.
Are you kidding? My sisters are so strict. Right. I'm afraid of them. They weren't letting me touch anything, much less their kids.
For sure. Well,
anyway, so that's my example.
Places where we need grace in public, definitely at work, at home. I think something you've always helped me with, Kari, is choosing patience over perfection. Yeah. Man, that hits home for me because you have helped me in our conversations about our kids. I am definitely, what our kids call me today,
obsessive compulsive.
Yeah, basically just in cleaning. And but it was funny because they started talking about it. I'm whispering because they're upstairs, but
they know you, babe.
I was a little shocked. Like, I was a little offended. Anyways, man, they were attacking me for wanting to be clean and
not for wanting to be clean. It's the way you want to be clean. That's all good.
Anyways, I extended a lot of grace.
You did.
A lot of grace. Hey, talk a little bit about extending grace. If we're talking about our culture, online is a big one. We're heading into the Easter season over the next couple of weeks. And man, everybody's arguing about Good Friday. When did Jesus die? This stuff comes up all the time. Then we just had, everybody's arguing over what's the big politics right now is people being deported. And everybody has their opinion. Yeah. And then they, people you never talk to literally for years, then they jump on your Facebook or Instagram and they just have to get their 2 cents in, because it's a big conversation. We want to show our 25 followers what, that just irks me. Like, hey, we don't even have a friendship, and your opinion matters so much to me and, 160 words. But nonetheless, talk a little bit about we're extending grace. It's home, public, work, even online. This is a big issue nowadays. Would you not agree?
Yeah. I think once Reels came out, that was like the end of my online discussions because people are basing their opinions off 15-second Reels from people they don't know. Right. Anybody could get on there. Now we have AI. Who even knows? Somebody could be on there posing as a doctor and it's something an AI generated.
We might not even be real on this podcast.
Well, you don't even know. You have no idea.
Let me see. Oh, no, you're real.
Ow. So once that hit, I was like, okay, literally no one is doing their homework. No one's reading. And I say no one. I mean, that's an extreme statement. I'm sure there's a couple out there. Probably not many. I wouldn't think. I'm a big reader and there's very few things politically, especially that I'm digging into deeply. So why would I offend a Christian brother or sister in Christ, or even worse, a lost person that I want to represent Christ to, over something that we both just saw a couple reels on? Yeah. We don't even know what's true. It's different when like, if something I know to be true, like that whole thing with my kids, like I'll go up over that. Sure. Like we'll have words over that. Right. It's real life. We're face to face. It's a real situation. But this cracks me up. People go online and they're arguing about stuff that I'm like, you have no control over. Yeah. And you have no proof of anything that this is true. Yeah. So I think as Christians, like it just should not be said of us that we're offensive online. Right. Standing up for truth is one thing. Being offensive, it's just foolishness. Yeah. I won't do it.
And here's a great, another shepherd tip for this week. we have to stop taking either 30-second clips and or one news media post, posting it on our page and then acting like this is true
This
and
is
real.
the gospel.
This is this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Immigration, this one article proves it all. Or, what's happening in our country, this proves it all. People that do that, and then they'll, put, 15 words of why, this political party is so bad. This is personal. I feel like it makes them look very foolish. Like you are basing your entire belief system on one article.
Yeah.
That I think we've all proven now, news nowadays cannot be trusted.
Right.
It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, right or left, all of them lie. All of them are they're all clickbait. They're all trying to get you lured in and pulled in. And most people don't take the time to read the whole thing. They read, just the black bold letters, and in 15 seconds, here, I want to give everybody this opinion. And when you start digging into it, you don't have time, but sometimes you just want to DM somebody and say, this actually makes you look very foolish.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to help you, be a friend, but be careful not to base your whole belief system based on this one article that leans the way you lean.
Yeah.
Think. We miss out on critical thinking anymore. But with
really
those
do.
people, I would say this. Here's your options. You can just scroll past it. You can stop and pray for a person. Do you ever stop and pray for somebody?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel you put a hex on them.
I'm like, I pray for them. Oh God, these people need you.
I do. I pray for people that's what their life consists of.
Yeah.
You know, I know people that will not attend any church because no one preaches that the earth is truly flat. And it's like, you what now? You won't go to church because the pastor doesn't agree or preach that the earth is flat? Like,
Mercy. And that's a true story.
Like that is the saddest thing.
Right.
Like, you can believe that, go for it. You know,
Right.
If you want to believe that, go on. Like, no one's going to come and arrest you. But to like remove yourself from a congregation that loves you and wants you there and is there to support you because of that belief that none of you can prove exclusively.
Right.
I mean, you can't, like, short of having a rocket and going up in it and looking out yourself, like, you have to trust somebody's word. We all do.
We absolutely do.
So, like, it's fine. You're good.
And
like, don't worry about it. Don't make it your identity, but they do.
And we carry that over into church, we have an episode coming up here recently, the toxicity in church, but we do it in church. Like,
we do.
There's one thing that's absolute truth, and that is the word of God.
Yeah.
And yet, isn't it funny how our opinions are so massive nowadays
that
we're not going to go to church because, the pastor believes the earth is round, or this pastor believes it's flat, or they have a guitar in their church, or they sang a song by Fanny Crosby or somebody new. And man, it's amazing how far we've come to where, man, our opinions really are so big. We think they are massive, and then we split from everybody. And yet, man, maybe just sometimes scroll past on a post.
Just
maybe
keep
pray
going.
somebody. If you respond, here's two things. If you respond, I always say respond in kindness, or just stay silent. Like, just move on. Because sometimes, I will tell you this, some people want you to post because they're just
argumentative.
Yeah, argumentative. What are those people called? They are these people that just watch and wait online. Troll. There's trolls out there that. What were you gonna say?
Predators.
Okay,
it's a little much. Sorry.
Not far off. Some of them are trolls that this is what they want to do.
Yeah.
So they have 50 followers.
Yeah.
They want you to bring 20,000 followers in, and you post it so I can go back and forth. I can prove you wrong. And some people literally just, that's all they do. They have the time for it.
Yeah.
Whereas most of us do not have that time to go back and research and then argue over a philosophical point that doesn't even matter, really. And so sometimes you just, if you're going to post, to me, use grace. Like, post, be nice.
Yeah.
You have to be argumentative. There's some pastors even out there. One guy here recently, and I'm like, dude, you're just so abrasive and so rude. And if anybody posts on, it's like, okay, bud, okay, buddy, okay, like
Oh, no,
so
no.
condescending.
That
Like,
is not
yeah,
becoming.
I just muted him. Like, dude, that's just so sad. Like, you have a great point. Like, I even
Yeah.
agreed with him theologically, but
Yeah.
because he was so belligerent, rude, a jerk, and a Pharisee,
Mm-hmm.
nobody's going to listen to him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you just wrote off anybody that's Tommy's age and down. They're not going to listen to any or read anything like
Yeah.
that.
As Christians, we have really lost the ability to be meek, to be powerful, but control ourselves.
Bad.
It's like the more powerful people are, you know, in their opinions, the less control they have of them.
Right.
And that's just sad. But then you have the other side of the coin where people that are under control are wimpy and they won't speak up about anything.
Right.
And I don't like that. The Bible is full of admonitions to be meek and to be dangerous and powerful, not to borrow from Jordan Peterson for fans out there, but to be able to control it. That was Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus could flip a table, but he could wash some feet too.
Good, Karen.
Like he was just such a beautiful balance of both. And I think it's such a moment when you see someone online that has a huge following. And I think of pastors because they've been, in the last 10 years, the most controversial in the Christian circles about being so ridiculous online. I mean, just embarrassing. I have unfollowed, I almost follow no pastors. Like if you're a pastor out there and I follow you on social media, I respect you because when that whole thing blew up on Twitter and pastors were doing this and that, I was like, I am out. Like I am not watching this. This is absolutely ridiculous.
It's okay, guys.
I know.
She does
I get
not
cranked.
even follow me. Remember the other day, I was like, do you have a Twitter account? Because I can't find you.
We talked about this.
You blocked me.
I didn't.
I just kidding.
But anyway, yeah, it was just, but when I see someone like practicing that grace where you know them and you know that
That's
maybe
good.
this post upset them, but they reply with understanding and with genuine curiosity and like, let me learn how you got there. I just love that. I'm like, that's awesome. That's awesome that we can learn from each other and that we can, you know, not lower ourselves to a standard of childishness that the internet accommodates these days.
Yes.
All right, rant over.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, Kara, let's look at this here. I want to ask you a question. We understand grace. We've got to give it. God gives us. We give it to others. When grace is hard, so I'm trying to put this in the right way. There are moments when I think we do take grace out of context. We're not supposed to be pushovers.
Right.
So some people listen to this are like, oh my word, yes, I got to start practicing grace, even practicing it on myself. God gives grace to me, so I got it. You know, sometimes we're our own worst enemy. We're hardest on ourselves.
Yeah.
So when grace is really hard, what does it not mean? When do we take this out of context?
Like when we're practicing so much grace, that's a terrible way to phrase it, that we become like a doormat.
I would say.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Oh my word. Yeah. I mean,
I think even in ministry, I really do feel like everyone automatically can assume, well, you're the pastor. You're the pastor's wife. Like we pay you, right?
Yeah.
So you have to listen. You have to do this. You have to, you have to be nice to me.
You have to take the insults and you have to listen to everything I spew out of my
So how do we set boundaries in this?
I think there's a point in time when, I mean, again, where does truth come in? For me, that's the boundary. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to enable someone. I will forgive you 70 times 7, but I'm not going to stand by while you have foolish, childish behavior, especially an older Christian that's supposed to be mature and grounded in the faith and being an example and contributing wisdom to the body of Christ. Yeah. When that comes along, it's my grace to them is drawing that boundary. Yeah. That is grace. I am giving you something that you don't deserve, and that's the truth. Right. You don't, because everybody else is just letting you be you and rolling their eyes behind your back. Right. I'm going to love you enough, and the grace extended to you is truth. And sometimes that's what grace looks like. Right. And I mean, again, the example we have of Jesus, he didn't pull punches. He didn't go to eat with Zacchaeus and say, well, I know you've been trying hard, you're a good guy basically, and you're a thief, but you do help people here and there. No, like he told people, he met them in their sin, yes, but he uncovered their sin. He told them what they were. And sometimes we have to practice grace in that way.
Right.
Like loving you and being a Christian friend to you is telling you this is not okay.
Yeah.
I love you enough not to let you be a jerk. And I hope I have people in my life. I know I have people in my life that do that. I've used that on my kids many times. Yeah. Mom, that's not fair. That's not, and I'm like, it's fair because it's right.
Yeah.
And I could let you do that and I could allow you to be like this or like that, but it would do you a disservice. No one would like you.
Yeah.
You would go out in the world and they're not going to let you get away with that. You're going to get beat down in the world because I didn't prepare you to face truth.
That's good.
And so I think that's where boundaries come in, is grace is not just like being nice no matter what happens.
Right.
Grace is control, and it's extending people something they don't deserve. And sometimes that's just a hard truth.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I was going to add some stuff, but I think that's really awesome.
Oh, go
We're going to
for
start
it.
closing this out, but yeah, I think that was really good. I think for all of us this week, if we're going to take anything away, it is a quote that I wrote down. I don't have to like it, but I can always give grace to it. We don't always have to agree, always have to like, but there are a lot of situations I think we can all grow in having grace. I love the balance. I mean, I think you just hit it on the head. It's grace and truth, and having that balance is the perfect formula for being able to not be a doormat, but also not be a belligerent person nobody wants to be around.
Right.
He loses it. It's finding that balance that God had, Christ on this earth, and what a balance.
Yeah.
To be able to have a conversation with somebody that no one else would have a conversation with.
Absolutely.
But then those moments of like, you know what? Turning over tables and taking cords and whipping people out. Like, he had grace and he had truth.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was heavy on the grace because he was all God. Can you imagine? Could read minds. But for us, we can take on the mind of Christ as well. There's a verse that I think is a great way to end this. It says, Romans 12:18, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
I love that verse.
It's saying, look, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone.
Yeah.
If it is possible, and if it depends on you, live peaceable with everyone.
I love that.
How cool is that?
There's also a verse that I can't quote it exactly, but it says, love covereth a multitude of sins.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Because
very good.
That's what you want, right? Like, even exercising grace, I had to remind myself going into that store, like, I don't even want to use grace as like, well, I'm a Christian, so I'm going to do, and so I'm going to put this example on my podcast so that like, that's pride, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, the grace comes from a heart of love.
Right.
And it's to minister. It's to minister to others.
I love that.
So like, it shouldn't even be from a prideful standpoint of like, well, they're just an evil person, but I ministered grace to them. Yeah. No, that's not, you're off. Like, it's coming at it of like, I want to live peaceably with everyone. I want to cover the sin in this world with love. And it's coming from that heart of Christ. Like, how can I extend that heart of Christ to someone? Yeah. In grace.
You're so awesome, Kara.
You are too.
You got good things to say. I should have just given this one to you. I'm learning so much. I'm like,
whatever.
So look how much I wrote down.
Stop. Is that your sermon for tomorrow?
Like, she is right. Let her preach. Preach on, preacher.
Easter AM service.
Yeah. This is a good one. Well, hey, let me just thank everyone who continues to listen each and every week. Kari and I had a really good session the other night, walking. We're talking about, the future of the podcast. And we have some guests that are going to be on through the summer. Be praying for Kari. She's got some really big things in her personal life that's going on right now. But our next step really is for her to start her own devotional. And we've got a lot of ladies that are asking for it. Kari, I feel like you are so gifted in this area.
Thank you.
And again, get together with Kristen here very soon, and she is such a help each and every week, and start kind of planning out to the future. But make sure you share this on your social media. If this could be a blessing to someone, Grace for That is what it's called, and want this message to get out. Let's give people grace through this next week.
And let me interrupt. This is totally off topic. I know you're winding up, but I do have to say
go
this.
for it.
I had a couple send me a video, and they actually asked the questions that we did on our podcast where we were like, this or that. So they sat down and recorded themselves, and they answered every question. It was hilarious. I have to let you watch it.
Yes.
It was so comical. So shout out to Jason and Betsy Springer. He's a pastor in Michigan, and they did the whole thing. It was fantastic. Yeah. They said, family. We listened to the podcast and we had to do it ourselves, and they didn't prep each other. So like their answers were raw, and it was so funny.
That's so cool.
If you did it too, send us a picture or send us your answers and let us know that you did that. And if anything funny comes up, we need to shout you out for sure.
So. If you have any comments, let us know. If there's a specific prayer request, let us know. If there's someone that you just can't give grace to, let us know. We'll pray for them. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in.